Okay, so today, third session of the. I hope I'm not mistaken. What is the foundation of the structure of the Buddhist path, mainly on the through the philosophy. I think it's philosophical view, integrating the concept of Lama Lamrim. I think last time we touched a lot of important topics in the last session, mainly consisting of karma, then intention, then mind, then the concept of rebirth. Then through utilization of all of this, then concept of what we call responsibility to some sense. So yeah. So today I think mainly through the concept, I think we do have refuge, the three gems, also class of the three gems. So today, mainly on the concept of refuge, and then through that refuge, then slowly graduating on the path. Yeah. Then last week, I think uh, we were talking about if you would like to then apply some homework, then to record down at least three wholesome intentions, three unwholesome intentions. If you like more, then definitely to record more, but if not, then at least one or three, just to keep a track of how one's mind behaves. Yeah. So hopefully you have done it, and if you have, then maybe you have seen some noticed, not seen, noticed some what was it, activities within the mind in regards to uh, the patterns, the different kinds of patterns, of the mind. Just like just like the Buddha said within the Dhammapada, mind precedes all phenomena. Mm. Then also that our life itself is shaped by the mind. So the importance, I think, last topic we talked about the importance of the mind. Okay, sangye jodang zoge zonam la chancho bada dani gyab sonche dagi zin soge pe zonam dola penche sangye dobra sho sangye jodang zoge zonam la chancho bada dani gyab sonche dagi zin soge pe zonam dola penche sangye dobra sho sangye jodang zoge zonam la chancho bada dani gyab sonche dagi zin soge pe zonam ki dola penche sangye dobra sho. Okay. My motivation for the morning is done. Thanks to all of you. Mm. Okay, so today, mm, mm, so when it comes to refuge, mm, yeah, so today, uh, I think when it comes, not refuge, when it comes to the path, then of course, why Buddha advise us to take refuge. Yeah. Mm. Then, of course, so what the three jewels are, and then how the how the development of the path utilizes structures, certain types of structures, especially that is included within the Lamrim, um, to organize the gradual stages of the path in order to work with our mind, and then work with the utilization of our mind to gradually, what do we say, gradually take the different stages of the path into our daily life, so that we can integrate our daily life into the achievement of the practice. Uh, the consistency of the application of certain types of practices, then utilizing those consistent constructions of the mind, then that's when the development truly comes. So that one. So I think we being intelligent beings, we need what we say. We need to utilize the intelligence to integrate with our awareness. This is one thing that we lack, is the integration of our awareness in our daily life. Because without the awareness, then as we talked last week, the mind works on the basis of those clarities. And when the clarity is there, then definitely the focus in regards to developing become much more profound. So does the utilization of the clarity become much more profound. The clarity, the awareness. So utilizing the clarity, and the awareness also becomes much more profound. And therefore, the Buddha, in the earlier years of his teachings, did not approach too much onto the concept of the path of the ground, but utilized most of his time talking about what we call clarity and stabilization. Yeah, so utilizing that is, I think, the profound method within our daily life to take those steps. But like I always say, if something does not make sense, if something contradicts the clarity of the mind, if something, even when it does make sense, then if we do not develop uh, the 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 habituation, the consistency, then the pattern gets lost. Of course, if it does not make sense, then the application and the utilization definitely does not, what we say, does not resonate with our activities of our mind and of our physical abilities. So because those need to resonate, the construct itself, I think, it's first see meaning, see clarity. Then through that meaning and clarity, then the utilization of that meaning and clarity to, what is it, to inaugurate the clarity of sense, yeah, within our mind. Within the Buddhist concept, philosophical concept, there are six senses. Then yigin namshe, the sixth sense. Ah, soadushi senpa ila cheba no. Mi na na shin je na shin lu na yigin namshe. No, five senses. So through the five senses, then the last one, the yigin namshe, the mental consciousness sense, that is where all the clarity, awareness, or what we call sense, arises. So when first step, when potentially that sense arises within our mind, when something makes sense, then that utilization now consists not of sense but of habituation or practice. And this is why uh, people who have great clarity are the ones who are striving the most in order to practice. Is because it makes sense, and utilization of that sense keeps the consistency alive. And through that consistency, then the development of the mind arises, I think. Yeah. So I don't know if that makes sense, but generally, this is how the construct itself should be. And if you look within the teaching itself, this is the method that the teaching teaches. Mhm. So the clarity, utilization of the clarity in order to develop the awareness, and then through that awareness, sorry. samsaric body, samsaric experience. uh, yeah, so so utilization of that, the what do we say, utilization of all of the profoundness within us. I think one of the closest things that resonate in my understanding, that resonate to me within the Lamrim when it talks about precious human rebirth, this is definitely one of them. The the body is a very, very, very amazing. Uh, it can utilize, the mind can utilize it to its fullest potential, whether it be the brain, whether it be the other senses, whether it be our physical attribution or actions. And this is very profound. Uh, mhm. So again, anyway, coming down to the concept of precious human rebirth, this, uh, when I think about it, this clearly, very clearly, to me resonates a lot. I think this is one of the first steps in order to integrate the precious human, the concept of the precious human rebirth into our what we say, into our understanding. Mm. So I think we did talk about it last what we say last session as well. But what, when we talk about what refuge mean, what does refuge mean? Uh, First thing always mentioned through the teachings of the Buddha, philosophy of the Buddha, is that refuge is not blind faith. Uh, Refuge cannot be developed on blind faith. Refuge cannot, what do we say, consist of blind faith. And refuge cannot be utilized through blind faith. Uh, So that is, I think, a very, very strong core structure that implies that that we should imply, that implies in the practice itself. When the refuge itself is based on unclarity and blind faith, then the refuge is unstable. When the refuge is unstable, then the, what do we say, the trust, the belief, the, what we say, the connection between the refuge and ourselves becomes very what do we say, vague in some sense. And through that vagueness, the application through that vagueness cannot construct a meaningful path. So this is um, I remember once I said, uh, when you get married, and then you do not, if you do choose someone out of unclarity, yeah, just because of a certain type, certain experience, I think this happens a lot. What do we say, in the concept in the West, where they say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, or something like that. People tend to get drunk and then party, and then I don't know, get married, and then after that they, tomorrow, the next day, they realize, and then they get divorced or something like that, I think. So this is quite similar to the concept, again, to refuge as well. I remember once I mentioned that refuge is not on a physical romantic sense, but then on the spiritual, more higher sense. Then definitely there is a strong, what we say, a strong relation. Not the relation, like I said, not on the romantic, not on the fantasism aspect, but on the dependence aspect. The only one of the only reasons that we do take refuge is we need, because we understand the construct of dependent origination, yeah, the cause and effects, yeah, the conditions that need to be created. And one of the conditions that need to be created in order to utilize the wisdom and the knowledge is uh, we need a place where the wisdom and the knowledge can come. And also we need guidance in utilization of the wisdom and the knowledge. So yeah, mm, 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 mm. Method and wisdom, as we say, tapang sharap, yeah, tabshi sungde. So So sorry. So, so the relationship on the and the relationship on the dependence is very strong because we are impermanent, and therefore we depend on the concept of dependent origination, and because the concept of dependent origination implies on the on every object of impermanence, therefore we also need that on in order to progress on the path we need the right conditions. And one of the three most important conditions surrounding the development of the path is the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. I think we talked about it. We talked about defining very clearly on in our last session. But yeah, so first, I think clarity. Yeah, this is where the Lamrim talks about the qualities of the Guru, where the Lamrim talks about the qualities of the Buddha. Even when it comes to Buddha, Buddha consists of the 108 qualities. Yeah, what do we say? Simge, was it? Yeah, so 108 different qualities, and this is not including the physical qualities. This is including just the qualities of the mind itself. So the 108 different qualities. Now, when it comes to the guru, also, you know, having to depend on the guru, the qualities of the gurus are immense. Mm. When when it comes, I always say, uh, uh, when it comes to guru, then don't uh, what we say, what is the word? Uh, just because available, then don't grasp onto it. Yeah, we tend to make this mistake in our life a lot. Yeah, just because something is available, we tend to grasp on it onto it without clarity, without understanding, and there's a little bit of a problem. And we can see that, I think, the concept of the guru, not just in the Buddhist concept, even in the Hindu, even in the what do we say, Judaism concept, the concept of guru is. And I think if we go into other concepts such as Christianity, Islam, other religion beliefs, then even there, the dependency on something or someone is definitely there. Of course, the ultimate God is the ultimate form of love and compassion and all of that. But then when it comes to the worldly, then we do mm, depend on some kind of channel, like the concept of profit, the concept of all of this. Now if the if we grasping, and then we don't check the qualities of the concept of the priest, of the prophet, then a lot of issues tend to come up. So this is something that we need to be very clear, is that when we do choose, then we know we don't choose uh, um, I like to say, uh, mm, mm, when it comes to the guru, it has to be the best. Uh, uh, when it comes to the student, then it can be the worst. This is so this is what we need to utilize. Yeah, because the guru's intention is to help. So if the guru is choosing only the best students, then you already see a faults in the guru. Yeah, and this is also a very profound importance that is taught within the teaching, is that the guru does not define between the best and the worst. And the reason behind this is because, you know, uh, The worst student needs the most guidance. Yeah. Uh, then when it comes to the guru, then I think you cannot settle with any. You can't you can't go with the concept in regards to like, oh yeah, well, this is the only option I have left, so I will take it, what is it? Desperation. Don't let desperation take over. Yeah. Uh, the guru, when it comes to the teacher and the guru, and the guidance, it has to be the best, the most profound, the most amazing, the most clear, the most what we say potential, the most qualities. When it comes to the student, then there you can have many, many, many differences. This is why within the Lamrim, when it talks about the qualities of the student, then there's only, I think, only a few, but the most important one is the willingness to listen. Yeah, the willingness to listen. That's it. That's the only necessary quality to be a student. But to be a guru, then a whole profound list of abilities, qualities, mm, what we say, behavior, means, application, lots of different qualities required. So this again, very strongly integrated with the concept of blind faith, because we do integrate that into our life. Just because someone has a big name, just because someone talks very nicely, just because that, then and the integration tends to happen. So yeah, so that is that. Then another concept within blind faith is that the utilization of unclarity. Yeah, because we are desperate, and this does show our desperation because of our unclarity, then I think integration becomes very vague. And because of vague integration, then the consistent does not happen. And when the consistent does not happen, then the development does not happen. And when the development does not happen, then the achievement does not happen. And this we can see, these are conditions, right? These lead to one another. And we can see very clearly, even within our own life, we can see when we keep something consistent, then we tend to, what we say, we tend to integrate that into our life. When we don't keep something consistent, then, then it's what we say, 1 month application, then lost for 6 months. Then after that realization, oh, I should apply. Then going back into the same application. Then again 1 month. Then forgetting. Then our life is sort of like the consistency does not match with our mindset. So that definitely very important. Uh, then what is it? One more thing. Mm, I forgot. Uh, so anyway, yeah, so that is that. Uh, uh, then I think when it comes to this, then uh, a, a conscious reorientation, yeah, a conscious reorientation of method, of quality, of development, and of means of utilization. And this has to be done. And this can be done through meditation, contemplative meditation, or this can be done through what is the utilization of the Sangha, where you are communicating, where you are discussing about things. So this conscious reorientation, what we say, integrated into the uh, moving from the confusion towards the wisdom needs to be done. And this is what we are trying to do. Yeah, we are reorienting our views, our method, our application, and our clarity. And this reorientation is on the basis, not on the basis of confusion, but on the basis of clarity and wisdom. Yeah, so that definitely something we need to do, not just on our Dharma practices, but also I think if we are suffering, not physical suffering. I mean, physical suffering is a different thing. But when we are suffering mentally, then this integration definitely. Oh, I remembered when it comes to the guru, a lot of people, I think they lose their gurus. not lose their gurus, like lose them forever, sort of lose, but then, cause and condition, what we say, my own experience with Kyabje Lama Thupten Sopa Rinpoche when Kyabje Lama Thupten Sopa Rinpoche passed. Uh, First, unbelieving, the mind cannot integrate with the thought, so the mind doesn't want to believe, sort of thing. Then after that, realization that, yeah, uh, Rinpoche no more with us, that kind of realization hits. And once that realization hits, then you start questioning, oh, now what? Now I'm lost, now I'm that, now I'm this, now I cannot perform, now, that kind of mindset does arise. This is on my own personal, it seems like all clarity is gone from my life, that kind of experience. Then after that, then slowly the realization sink in stronger, and then the craving, the need, the grasping starts to arise. So now I'm looking around, or someone similar to Gyabje Lama Thupten Sopa Rinpoche, who can I hold on to? That kind of concept starts to come up. Uh, but in reality, from my perspective, I think that the guru, even though physically and momentarily, actually, physically and momentarily, the guru, goes away or takes leave, or takes short break, sort of thing. In reality, your connection is already developed, and this is where the concept of refuge is so strong. Even when you say you don't want, I think the guru will come. This is the profoundness of the practice of what we say, uh, clarity in utilization of the three gems. Because of that, then one thing I always like to think in my mind is that, okay, Rinpoche is no longer with us, but that does not mean the teaching is gone. That does not mean the guidance is gone. That does not mean the profoundness, the spark that he ignited in you, the clarity that he helped you develop, the sincerity the sincere methods and the means and the ways that he guided you, that is still there. That does not disappear. Yeah, unless you let it go, then it's a whole different concept. But if you have not let it go, then definitely that is there. And now we are in an era where, like I always say, abundance era. And when it comes to the teachings of our gurus, this abundance is there. And you can go onto YouTube and type Kyabje Lama Thupten Sopa Rinpoche, and all the teachings start popping up. So the abundance is still there. And this is, I think, this is why sometimes I say, maybe this is not the Kali Yuga time, degenerate time. This is more opposite of that. In a way, there is more to utilize. Yeah. So that for me definitely resonates. And this is where, and now because Rinpoche is not there, when I listen to the teachings are much, much, much more. I don't know. It goes in much more. I don't know the exact word how to say. When Rinpoche is there, then you go to the teachings. Half of the time you are listening, half of the time your mind is going all over the place like that. But now that Rinpoche is not there, when you are listening, it really, it has that impact. I think mentally we do say no. We value things that are what we say. We value the things that are no more there rather than valuing the things that are there. So this tends to happen. So even with my own mind, I can see that. Maybe I can give an excuse and say, oh, well, I was younger at that time. But then whatever excuse I give, that difference is definitely there. So the guru never dies, the guru never leaves, the guru never abandons. And this is the quality of the guru. Again, this is mentioned within the Lamrim as well as one of the qualities of the guru. So, utilizing this quality of the guru is extremely important. Uh, uh, so, even if the guru has what we say momentarily, and what we say what we say, distanced, for momentarily distanced, our mind should not shatter because of that. Yeah. So consistency, and this is another thing that I do mention, and generally, and this I think will be a little bit helpful, is that I've had people come to me who have had their gurus pass away. Then now they're worried about their reincarnation. Yeah, they're worried about how the reincarnation will be, if they will connect with you or not. That there's, a lot of things. And I understand that the world is the the world is a little bit conspicuous nowadays. Yeah, utilization of politics, utilization of, or all what we say, um, what we say, uh, 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 yeah. So system, politics, all of that. This is all integrated so much into this, into the system itself. It's hard to, even when it comes to reincarnation, even His Holiness mentions that there are questionable reincarnations, and this one we can see in their performance and their qualities. So anyway, whatever it may be, one thing I always tell people who have had a very strong connection with the predecessors, then I do tell them that no matter what the reincarnation turns out to be, if the qualities develop, then that's the time when your mind connects. Unless the quality develops, does not mean that the guru is not there. For me, uh, uh, if I give you an example, for me, of course, Kyabje Lama Thupte Zopa Rinpoche reincarnation, there is coming. I'm looking forward to it, definitely. I think a lot of us students are looking forward to it. But my connection with how Rinpoche, my image of Rinpoche, the Rinpoche, Kyabje Lama Thupte Zopa Rinpoche, is not the reincarnation. Who I connected with, who I learned from, is not the reincarnation. This is my mental state, right? I cannot see. Yeah, unless Rinpoche comes and says, "Oh, yeah, I recognize this and I recognize that," then maybe a little bit of blind faith maybe develop there. Yeah. Uh, but then, unless that, for me, I think quality is very important. The moment when I see the reincarnation grow up and perform the qualities that ignited me, or that helped me see Rinpoche for who he was. When those qualities arise, I think that's when my heart would be totally, yes. But before that, I cannot make clear about those things. No. So that for me, and that is, I think, clear, and also what do we say, unharming in our own mind in some ways. So that is definitely there. Uh, so yeah, so the example, generally when we say the guru is the Buddha, the guru is the Dhamma, guru the Sangha, and that the reason we say this is because the guru itself, or the teacher itself, is the fully awakened. Within the teaching, it's said that it's the fully awakened example of the triple gems. Yeah, the fully awakened example of the triple gems. So this is why we utilize the concept of the relation between the three gems and the guru. Yeah, the fully awakened example. Yeah, the guru is the Buddha, meaning you have seen the qualities. The Buddha, the awakened one, meaning the one who is awakened in regards to escaping samsara. If you do not have the qualities to show the awakenedness, then where is the awakenedness? And the awakenedness does not exist until we see the qualities, right? So this is why the qualities matter a lot. This is why the qualities of the guru matter a lot. Yeah, so that is there. The guru is the dharma, because the ability to preach, the ability to clarify, the ability to vanquish doubts, and so on and so forth. Therefore, the dharma. the method taught, the guidance taught within the method and the teachings to integrate our life into the Dharma so that we can achieve the profoundness of the path. There comes the utilization of the Dharma, yeah, the example of the Dharma. Then the Sangha who utilizes, well, can be, I think when we talked about Sangha, we talked about the, different types of Sangha, but the quality of all four different types of Sanghas is utilized within the application of the Guru's practice. So that is definitely there as well. So that I think within the scriptures mentioned that it's the fully awakened example that we in our situation, in our what we say worldly concerns, and in our worldly way of living, that we can utilize and we can see. Yeah, so that is definitely one of the integrations that is there. Mm. So yeah, so that is there. Then comes, I think, so within the Dharma, then the teachings, the actual path, the utilization, and the realization, and these are the four qualities that can be expressed through the guru or through the teacher itself. Then within the Sangha, the spiritual, what we call the spiritual community, integration of the spiritual community, usage of the spiritual community, that is definitely there. Then, of course, the help that is necessary in order to help us awaken through the guidance of the utilization of the wisdom and method, the unity of the wisdom and method, that is definitely there. So the analogy, yeah, wow, within the four, what we say, the four noble truths, we can also see the concept of the what we say, the triple gems in regards to the utilization, the analogy of the doctor, the medicine, and the nurse. So that is definitely taught within the what we say, within the what we say, profoundness that qualifies the guru to integrate the guru with the concept of the triple gems. Mm. Then I think we go down to refuge, which within refuge, because the ordinary solutions that we tend to seek in our daily life to escape suffering never solve suffering permanently. And they do tend to integrate it, not permanently, temporarily, they do tend to integrate, but then the concept of temporary does not last. And when we can get something permanently, then why resolve for something temporary? This is the concept behind it, yeah. Yeah. So so generally, if we look at the structure of the world, where do we generally seek refuge from? We seek refuge towards fame. Yeah, we take refuge uh, through what we say, seeking refuge through money, through relationship, through status, through entertainment, through control, and this we can see in our daily life, our performance within our daily life. Yeah, we are guilty of integrating what we say, these means of seeking refuge from the what we say, from the mental afflictions, not the afflictions, but the mental what we say, unhappiness. Yeah, so when it comes to the mental dissatisfaction and the unhappiness, then we tend to take yeah, entertainment. Entertainment is a big industry because of that. Entertainment is a huge industry now. You look in the modern world, entertainment is one of the biggest industries. And it's because of that we seek momentary, what we say, satisfaction, and that momentary satisfaction in regards to seeking comfort, and that comfort in regards to utilization of the ignorant mind, as we call it. So definitely that is there. Then status, of course. Yeah, status builds. I think status has a very strong relation between the concept of dependent origination. When we see something that is below us, that is, mentally we think is below us, it doesn't have anything to do with us, doesn't have the connection. We don't see the clarity of the dependency, then the ignorance is very strong. But when we see senior, higher dependency, that kind of thing, then our mind is rushing to create that status so that it can integrate and it can benefit from that integration. And we can see that happening. Yeah, especially, I think if you're working, then definitely you'll see that happening. This is where the response of the mind is very peculiar in some ways. When someone with the lower status, someone who you don't have to depend on, says something harmful or harsh or what do we say, unkind, then the response is, angry, burst, that, this. And it's not just the mental response, it's also the physical response. But then when on someone on a senior, what do we say, senior, higher level, or someone senior, or some, someone you need to depend on, says the exact same word, then the contradiction between the mind and the physical behavior completely, integrates into our life. Even though in our mind we are, cussing and cursing that person, and in behavior we are like, oh yes, nice, good, like that. So the integration, we can see very clearly how our performance happens, and this is, I think, there is, they definitely there is the concept of dependency there. Imagine if our mind did not have the concept of dependency, that reaction would not matter, whether it's a senior or whether it's a colleague or boss or whether it's someone unknown. So because we can see that the integration differs between the two, we can see that yes, our concept of dependent origination is structured, but the structure is fully performing on the basis of our, what we call, I think you can call it the worldly concerns, or on the basis of the eight worldly concerns, we can call it that, but then mainly on the basis of our lack of integration on a more wider scale. Yeah, so it's mentioned within the teachings that the teaching, it's like actually, opening up the walls so that you can see more clearly, to widen the view instead of looking through what you call a peephole, right? Peephole, you call it? Yeah. So instead of looking through a peephole, it's widening, it's breaking down the walls so that you can see everything around us on a more profound level. Yeah, so that integration, I think, definitely there. So with that, then I think what we say, the integration of the what we say of the Lamrim overview uh, presents the path visually, uh, so that we understand and we are able to integrate that wider view so that the application tends to have a more consistent effect. The application of the practice or the path has a more consistent effect. And that consistent effect arises through of course, this is the second step in regards to integration, but the first step is to see meaning, to see clarity. So definitely, if we look at the Lamrim, then we see how Lamrim integrates the precious human rebirth. It starts with suffering. It starts with understanding suffering. It starts with samsara. Then within suffering and samsara and all the, what we say, what we say, dissatisfactory aspects of the samsara, then we see within all of that, we see the concept of precious human rebirth. Through that precious human rebirth, then comes the concept of impermanence. And just like we talked about last week, impermanence integrating with the concept of karma. So the unity of impermanence and karma coming together with precious human rebirth, which means the ability, then comes the concept of renunciation. My teacher always, when every time renunciation came up, he would use three words, "Duje," korwa, pungbo. And that, I don't know, somehow stuck in my mind all the time. Now, even if I want to get it out, I cannot get it out. So, duje kowa pungbo, duje kowa chen pungbo, duje compounded phenomena, korwa samsara, then pungbo, the body. Yeah, so on the basis of the concept of renunciation, then what are we renouncing? We are renouncing samsara. We are renouncing korwa. What do you say? The samsaric uh, means of the samsaric means of utilizing our grasping attitude in order to, because we understand the construct itself on the basis of impermanence, on the basis of impermanence and dependent origination, then integration of the impermanence and dependent origination in regards to performing compounded view on the basis of renunciation, that is what is taught within the practice itself. But instead of that, in our daily life, what we do is, instead of utilization on the renouncing part, we utilize it on the grasping part. That's where I think the highest level of dissatisfaction arises when we integrate it with the with the satisfaction attribution, and attributing towards the satisfaction, momentary satisfaction, rather than the renunciation. So yeah, so through the impermanence, then the connection between impermanence and karma, and through the utilization of karma, then the arising of the renunciation. Why renounce? For what reason renounce? With what clarity renounce? Then with that, then once the renunciation, yeah, what we say, um, mm, once the renunciation is there integrated, then the bodhicitta also becomes much more profound and clear. At the moment, the bodhicitta, even the bodhicitta, I think very closely connected with our own being. Yeah, especially with our own graspingness. So we can see that. Compassion is integratable, bodhicitta is integratable with innocence, for example. Innocence is one of the most profound, I think, qualities where the bodhicitta is integrated very easily. Small kids, small baby animals, cute, baby animals, those things, the renunciation, the compassion is very integrated. Even if a small kid hits you, you're like, oh, it's a kid, no problem. Forgiveness, very easy. But then when it comes to that performance in regards to, a more profound aspect of a being not integrated with the innocence, but integrated with the clarity, then that's when the forgiveness becomes, what do we say, rock hard. Doesn't want to, yeah, the mind does not want to, just doesn't want to, throw it out or give it out. And I think it even comes to the point where when you are when you are utilizing this, then your profoundness, the profoundness of the subject of that compassion, what we say, clashes with our understanding of how it's supposed to be utilized. So we can see that very clearly in our own integration. Yeah, when you show compassion, look at the subject. And when you look at the subject, then you start to see, why am I showing compassion? Because of this and this and this and this and this and this and this. Because if the compassion was arising from its nature, from its innate nature, where it sees suffering, then there shouldn't be any differentiation, right? That is logic. There shouldn't be any differentiation. If the suffering is coming from, like, for example, let's say, I mean, if the compassion is arising from understanding the nature of suffering, then imagine you're going out and looking out of the window and seeing all those beings and all those animals, and that compassion should naturally arise. And that's the state we want to reach. But then our mind does not work that way. When we look out of the window and we see 10 different people, and the 10 different people have different backgrounds and different looks and different behaviors and so on and so forth, now your mind is starting to say, compassion, no compassion. Maybe if you like this, then compassion. This is how the mind is going around. Yeah, then you say, oh, my mother, then compassion because she showed me compassion. Maybe some mothers, oh, she did not show me compassion. She did not look after me. She did not take care of me. So it doesn't deserve compassion. Even when it comes to animals, I think we tend to behave that way. Forget about big animals, even small animals. When you see a ladybird, a small, cute, ladybird, then you say, oh, poor animal, nice, so innocent. But then when you see a mosquito, then, oh, no, no, no. Disturbing my sleep, biting me, that, this, you have all kinds of different reasons to why not. So definitely we can see that bodhicitta very closely integrates with the renunciation. And through renunciation, if bodhicitta is developed, then that bodhicitta becomes a profound bodhicitta, undefined, unsecular, what is it? Secular. That then that bodhicitta is developed, and this is how the lamrim integrates. Yeah, just like we talked, passions, human rebirth, impermanence, then karma, then renunciation, then bodhicitta, then through bodhicitta, then uh, is the what we say the pinnacle of utilization of wisdom. And this is where the integration of the view of emptiness happens through bodhicitta. Then the development also, I think the development of the wisdom also, uh, what we say, compounds in a very major scale. Because when the mind is defining, so much defining, yeah, between, like I said, between the differences and between how it looks and how that and how this and how that, all of this, then the integration is completely different. So the wisdom integration also completely changes. But then when the differentiation is not there, when we look externally outwards and we see no difference between the mosquito and between the ladybird and between the human and between the dog and between the baby and the grown up person and between the old person, when this unity in seeing that the samsaric experience is universal, and through that, when the bodhicitta is developed, then the clarity of the wisdom where it says, now the graspingness is useless. This integration tends to happen. And that's where the wisdom aspect arises, is where when you realize that the graspingness is meaningless and therefore it has to be integrated with it has to be negated through the practice of the what we say negating the wisdom obscuration itself. And it needs to be negated not just on a surface level, but from the innate level itself. This is where the tantric path touches. Yeah, so through that, then only through that wisdom, what is negation of the wisdom obscuration, then only enlightenment is achieved. So therefore, through the construct of the what we say of the path taught within the Lamrim, then the overview is human rebirth, precious human rebirth, impermanence, then karma, then through that renunciation, then bodhicitta, wisdom, and through the utilization of this path, then the attainment of enlightenment. And this is not a separate teaching or a separate means or a separate method. It is one integrated sort of like circle curriculum, one integrated curriculum that very profoundly mash, what we say, diverge, sort of like, mashes into each other. Okay. So, so in order to achieve enlightenment, this needs to happen. These procedures needs to happen. Yeah. Now, I think the practice is how we make it, how easy or how difficult we make this practice. This is in our hands. It can be very, very, very difficult, but it can also be very easy. Uh, Another thing that I think I did mention is uh, what do we say? Mm, Simplifying things. I think we did talk about it. Simplifying methods, simplifying means, simplifying way of thinking, simplifying, but this does not come without profundity. Simplification comes through profundity. The more you understand it, the more you are able to simplify it. The less you understand it, the less you are able to simplify it. So if we are trying to simplify something and we have a hard time simplifying it, definitely that means we need to understand it more. Yeah, so I think this is where, and coming back to the concept of the teacher, of the guru, coming back to the concept of that, then the integration, what makes it more integratable, and this has to come from the guru's side, I think. Definitely from our own side when it comes to the application that is there, but then from the like I said, from the sensible, integratable wisdom side, then that's where we seek knowledge. That's where we seek guidance. Yeah. So definitely, as we talked, what do we say? Uh, even within the Buddhist concept, then definitely we have the three different levels of motivation. Yeah, I think this we talk through the is taught through the scopes. So within the Lamrim, the small scope, the middle scope, and the greater scope. This integrate, for example, the small scope integrates avoid of lower realms, yeah, avoidance of lower realms, so that one does not uh, get reborn in the lower realms. And this, like I said, is more definitely more fear integrated rather than wisdom utilization. So that is there definitely. Then we have the middle scope in regards to freedom from samsara itself. Yeah, Aryahood, or what we call experiential, negating the experiential wisdom. I mean, experiential obscuration. Then we have the greatest scope, which is definitely integration of enlightenment, which means taking on the responsibility to liberate all beings, and that too out of clarity. Yeah, through the unity of the wisdom and the method. I think within uh, uh, what's it, Adisha, Jojabade Adisha mentions the foundation of all good qualities is the kind and the perfect guru. So I think this is again the one difference that I see, because if you read this verse very clearly, the foundation of all good qualities is in the kind and perfect guru. When you look at this, first thing you can see is kind and perfect. That already defines a very profound quality that is not there and that is not available everywhere. Uh, Then the second one I always say is the difference between obedience and devotion. Now, when someone does take, there's no concept of obedience within the Dharma, within the teachings of the Buddha himself. There's no concept of obedience. The concept of obedience is completely, actually, it's against the concept of obedience. I read the life story of J. Lama Tsongkhapa. If you read the life story of J. Lama Tsongkhapa, you will see that uh, J. Lama Tsongkhapa was not obedient at all to Jizir Rendawa, and Jizir Rendawa was J. Lama Tsongkhapa's teacher. And J. Lama Tsongkhapa was never obedient. But when it came to devotion, exceptional devotion. And this one, if I give you a very clear example, we see that, husband and a wife. The husband doesn't mean the husband has to be obedient to the wife, but devotional, definitely. Same thing around the other way around as well. Yeah, the wife is devotional to the husband, but not obedient. So these two things we can clarify very, very simply by looking at our own life. That obedience and devotion have two complete separate uh, functions, two complete separate developments. What are we aiming to develop? We are aiming to develop devotion, not obedience. So, and this construct, I think, may be influenced by other religion, systematic religion, cultural aspects. This is there. Like, for example, if you look at a lot of the what is it, Tibetan Buddhism, Buddhist, uh, what do we call, uh, what do we call, uh, mm, within the Tibetan Buddhism system, uh, 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 um, how is a traditional system. And we can see that, yes, there's a lot of usage of obedience within that as well. It's there. Then within our own system, yeah, I think definitely in certain places we can see that, yeah, the teacher demands obedience. And when the teacher demands obedience, then what should go up in our mind is ding, 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 ding. This is what should go up in our mind. Yeah, this is what the teaching is all about. We have a mind. We are not. We are complete separate people. We have a mind. We have the ability. We have clarity. We have goals. We have aims, and it's completely different. So if you want to develop, then what should it resonate to is it should everything that is being offered should resonate to your benefit, your development. And you can go around and say, but that is egoistic, that is non-Buddhist, that is the, but no, in reality, that's how it works. I think a lot of senior practitioners, not senior practitioners, but long-term practices, I think does tend to, integrate this concept of, yes, you know, uh, uh, we should let go of the ego completely. I like to integrate that the ego is not the problem, the grasping is the problem. The integration of recognizing oneself is not the problem. The recognizing, and on top of the recognizing, the labeling and the grasping and the and the over performance of qualities, that's where the problem is. Recognizing that, oh, I'm the person who's called Charok is what is so egoistic about that? If I cannot perform even that recognition, then how am I going to say this Charok intends to become enlightened and wishes to become enlightened? Where is that coming from? You cannot integrate that without the recognition itself, no. So the recognition is definitely there, and I think that's where a lot of mental afflictions tend to arise within us, well, within practitioners, once they go beyond that and they say, oh, well, it's egoistic, it's that, it's this, it's non-compassionate, so on and so forth. And this teaching is there. When you want to swim, when you want to save someone from drowning, you need to learn how to swim. That is there. And this is very profound because it breaks the boundary between our own, what we say, namdo is what, I forgot the word, namdo. uh, our own, deliberate creations within our mind. Now, this one, I think, if you look at Buddha's story, is quite profound. When Buddha was born, then in India, that time India had a very profound caste system, and it still has, I think, even now. The concept of creation of human beings is on the basis of the body of the god itself. Some people are created from the head of the of the god, then some people are created from the feet of the god. This is like I said, and this kind of concept is there, and then on the basis of that, then the caste system is created. Brahmins on the top, and then uh, slowly down, 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 and then the untouchable. They say untouchable. I think who are born from the dirt beneath the ground or something like that. When when Buddha after Buddha starved himself 6 years because of a belief that eating a single grain of something and sitting under a tree until liberation, then liberation can be achieved. That kind of mentality was also there, and Buddha applied that. Sat under the tree for 6 years eating. But eating one grain of rice or barley or something like that. Eating one grain of rice or barley or something like that. So after after he realized that his body is now becoming physically, what do we say, unable, yeah, degrading, rotting, then the profound realization that, oh, no, 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 I need this body. If I want to reach where I want to reach, then I need this body. I cannot abandon this body. I cannot abandon this recognition. That I think came up. And after that recognition, he completely broke the caste system. The availability of the food at that time, I think, was from untouchable woman. And he took it, he accepted, he took it. So this actually breaks boundaries if you are utilizing the recognition of the body, of the self, of the idea of, I don't know, I don't exactly know where the concept of ego comes. Maybe ego is the concept of the grasping together, integrated together with the self. Maybe that's the ego. I don't know. If that is the sense, then definitely something to contemplate. But then, if the ego is just the recognition of the I, then that is not a problem. You should utilize that, no? That breaks the boundaries between, because through wisdom, the recognition of the I becomes very profound. It's through the lack of wisdom, then that's where the graspingness of the I arises, no? And we can see that very clearly through reasoning and logic. Then the I tends to, even though the I is there, that the grasping towards it tends to, tends to fade away a little bit. And this you can look at your own family. If you have a family member who you like a lot and a family member who you don't like a lot, look at how your mind uh, interacts with the two kinds of different members. The recognition of the I is definitely there with both of them. My brother, my sister, my family member, that is definitely there on the both sides. But when it comes to the external, I mean the performance itself, then the mental performance is completely opposite with the one you like and with the one you don't like. So the integration of wisdom happens more profoundly when it comes to the one you like, whereas the integration of wisdom is completely, shattered or disappear when it comes to the one that, the likely is not there. So there also we can see that our mind, I think this is where the concept of learning opportunity comes, that every aspect of our life is a learning opportunity in regards to integration of wisdom and integration of the, what we say, method application in regards to the wisdom itself. You don't need to sit down on a cushion and meditate about these things. And these things are realized or just on the basis of awareness on our daily basis. So, uh, uh, mm, yeah, yeah. So anyway, so yeah, focus, learning, uh, focusing. So through that, then, if you, when we say, when Jojabade Adisha says the foundation of all good qualities in the kind and perfect guru, now this one can be interpreted in many different concepts. I love the interpretation that Gyabje Lama Thupten Zopa Rinpoche gives. Yeah. Uh, uh, which is that, uh, you know, when your mind is at its profound level, then you are able to see the guru in everything. And this is where Gyabje Lama Thupten Zopa Rinpoche mentions that even your enemies can be your guru. Famous quotation by Gyabje Lama Thupten Zopa Rinpoche. So definitely, like I said, the integration is on many different levels. But then the integration that consists with your view is on the basis of learning. When wisdom integrates, then that profoundness is born. Where the wisdom does not integrate, then we tend to differentiate. I'm learning from this, but I'm not learning from that. I'm learning from this, but I'm not learning from that. Oh, I'm learning by sitting down, half an hour, focusing and meditating. But then when I'm walking around and talking, I'm not learning. So these kind of differences tend to come up on the basis of that. But I think the profoundness itself, is on the concept of focusing to learn rather than to devote. Yeah. So definitely through the learning, then the devotion is developed. It's not the other way around. Through the clarity, then the devotion develops. So uh, anyway, utilization of that. So anyway, so now something maybe you can uh, contemplate, reflect. What do I currently rely upon most when life becomes difficult? Me personally. Yeah, not on the general basis, not on the Buddhist concept or anything like that, but on a very personal level. When I have a conflict, when my life becomes difficult, then where does my mind, where's the first place that my mind goes? Yeah, that goes to order for reliance. Yeah, so contemplate. This is maybe you can be your homework. Yeah, write those things down. Yeah, see where your mind goes when you have a difficult time. What is the first thing? Then, then after you find where your mind goes, then asking, could that truly provide lasting refuge? Not momentary, not temporary refuge, but lasting refuge. Yeah, so something to reflect on the basis of what we've been going through today. Mm. Then, of course, we tend to do this, taking refuge. So if you have already taken refuge, then to remind yourself that this refuge is important, especially on the triple gems, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So I think this is something that I tend to do every morning, taking refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. This because the anyway, this tends to develop more clarity, definitely in regards to our own reflection and the meanings behind those reflections. Mm. Okay. Any questions? Charlotte?
Hello. Hi.
Hello, hello. Hi.
So, I've been really trying to get a handle of, you know, what I'm really trying to do. So today, FMPT sent out like a generic email, and it's like in lines of what you're talking about. Like the underlining um thought is we need to understand method and wisdom, right? The
Mm.
email was talking about like we suffer because basically, like you talk about, we cling, right? And we don't understand the correct view of what makes us happy. So I really get the picture of perhaps maybe wisdom might be talking about like emptiness, dependent arising, non-self, non-duality, right? Like how you're talking about we can love a ladybug, but then we have issues with a mosquito, right? Um, I'm just kind of wanting some clarity on when you and the talk is about method and the talk is about wisdom. What are you trying to tell us? Like, is method talking about like Lojong and we meditate and we go to the Lam Rim and Tantra? And then, like, how am I to use method and wisdom in my everyday life to like, because there's so much confusion. And then they talk about, and that's number one. And then number two, there's so much about mindfulness that I don't know, like, what does that mean? What am I supposed to be mindful of in the present moment? I get that the present moment is anicca, dukkha, and anatta, but what am I supposed to do with that? Can you please clarify?
Yes, yes, yes. Good. Wisdom, method, awareness. I think these are mere words.
Completely.
Yeah, mere words. uh, Integration does not happen on the basis of clarity of others. This is, I think, this is why uh, practice is very personal. And this is why there's so many different levels. And this is, I think, maybe becoming more confusing because there's so many different levels.
Yeah, because I feel like I don't have enough time. Like I don't have 1,000 years. I don't have 100.
Ah,
I just want to know what am I supposed to be in my everyday doing with wisdom, method, anicca, dukkha, and anatta. Like, yeah, please.
mm. So I think, like I said, this on many different levels. Definitely, this is why the confusion tends to happen. No, I don't know. The one thing that is a little bit hard to what we say provide to others is their level. And within the text, it says "kansa yi kansa tsumis in the nyamba yudare," and one person cannot define where the level of the mind of the other person. Yeah, so I have no idea on what basis, on what level, someone else's is. So that definitely. Uh, what's it? Uh, so that definitely, I think, sort of like has the integration. Yeah. So, but then I can give a generality. On the first level of understanding, awareness, wisdom, and method. On the first level, I think it comes down to the I. And this I say because of how I understand the story of the Buddha's life. It's the recognition of the I, what I like, what I don't like, what makes sense to me. This utilization of the I and the me has to be there. And this is why clarity is also on the basis of the I. Even though we say the I is something to negate, the I is something to challenge, the I is ego, so on and so forth. When it comes to emptiness, it does go deep into that. But to reach that level, first we need to understand and recognize the I. If you don't understand and recognize the I, then how are you going to, say what the I is seeing and what the I is seeing and believing and thinking and experiencing? How can you say that that is, wrong, or that is, cannot be, that is something that is not helping you on the path? You cannot define that. So the first level definitely is actually recognizing the I, truly, and not just recognizing, but truly recognizing the I. This is why I think most of my what we say, I think every after every session I give you some work to do, and all of those have to do with how the integration of things are happening in your mind, in my mind. So uh, like I said, today's reflection, what do I currently rely upon most when it comes to, my life becoming difficult? This is very closely regarded with the I. It's not someone else can, it's not something that someone else can answer as well, no? So on the first level, definitely integrated with the I. And this can be confusing when you don't understand the I, but the I is very, very profound in the understanding of emotions, in the understanding of reaction. And I think it's a very unique response that the I gives. And each and every person has a very unique response to how the I is, integrating with all of that. So I think when it comes to wisdom, first wisdom is definitely knowledge. That is universal. Wisdom, when it comes to knowledge, that is universal. So wisdom can arise. And this is why I say wisdom. When we talk about wisdom, we talk about many different levels of wisdom within the concept of philosophy, I mean, the philosophical concept itself. For example, when I work with people, uh, you know, emotionally, uh, what we say, emotionally affected people, when I work with them, then when I say wisdom, I normally tend to utilize the experience that one has gained through their past. This is what I like to integrate into wisdom. So when I talk to them, I say, this is where the wisdom comes from. And you need to see it more as a wisdom rather than something that is fighting against you, or something that is, what we say, overtaking, that I tend to say. But then when it comes down to clarity, then wisdom is again completely different. And wisdom is integration. That's where clarity comes. Then, when we talk about method, I think within the Dharma itself, within the teachings of the Buddha, most topics when it comes to method, then method is integrated into the concept of what we say compassion. Compassion being the method. This is on the general terms. But for me, I always say method is what works for me. That's what method is. And it changes. What works for me changes. Today, I'm sad. Yeah, then maybe my friend talking to me helps me, but that does not mean it's applicable every time. At one point I get sad and my friend helps me, and he helps me one, twice, three times, four times, and then after a certain amount of time, then he gets fed up of me. Then his response changes. Now, does that method work? No, it doesn't. So when it comes to method, of course, the innate method itself, like I said, is compassion. And I say this is the innate method because I always like to say compassion is the only thing where nothing can go wrong. And we are talking true compassion, right? When you talk about true compassion, it's the utilization of qualities within the confrontation. And the qualities within the confrontation is genuine, sincere, and unconditional. And when you see these qualities arise, genuinity, sincerity, unconditionality arise, then nothing can go wrong. Even if others see something going wrong, for you, it does not feel like it's going wrong at all, especially the unconditional thing. The only reason we see everything going wrong is because it's conditioned. We wanted to go this way, we wanted to go a certain way, we wanted to things to happen in a certain way. So this is why the conditioned is there, no? And because of the conditioned part, therefore, it seems like, oh yeah, no, no, it's not working out. But in reality, like I say, the ultimate, the innate means or the method uh, is definitely compassion. But then, for general aspect, I would say what works for you. Let's say, for example, calming your mind. What works for you? I
Wait,
could
ask
say,
it.
I could say something like, "Oh, you can go for a movie and it calms your mind," and it does for a lot of people. It does. You can go for a massage and it calms your mind. You can go for, I don't know, a spa and it calms your mind. I can say that. But then, is it applicable for each and every person? No, it changes. It differs. So definitely, I think this is one thing that one work that we need to do is see what works for us. The different levels of methods and the utilizations are definitely taught, yes, but that does not mean it's integratable for everyone. The concept of, for example, the concept of guru, for example, it's a very profound teaching. It's an amazing teaching, and a lot of people have utilized it to in order to reach enlightenment and in order to, develop clarity and so on and so forth. But does it work for everyone? No. And this is taught within the Buddha, the philosophy of Buddhism itself as well. Why do we have the solitary practitioners? Yeah, they are solitary practitioners. What is it within the what do we say? Within the path itself, they are solitary practitioners. So they utilize a completely different way rather than utilizing, dependence on a guru. So anyway, there are many differences. You are absolutely right, and it can be confusing. But I think the confusion is not on the basis of your experience. The confusion is on the basis of understanding others' experience. That's where the true confusion comes. Because when we go around listening around, then we get 10 different answers from 10 different people and 10 different experience from 10 different people. And then your mind is going, now what? Is it this or is it that or is it this or is it that?
Mhm.
Yeah, so I think this is why I always say make dharma integratable and integratable, not integratable into society, but integratable to our own, our own whatever's here, our own mind, our own experience. And this is what the Buddha teaches. If you look at the Four Noble Truths, it's all integratable. There is no preciseness in regards to how, for example, let's talk about impermanence, for example. Impermanence is general. There's nothing that is unimpermanent. I could say, oh, my body is impermanent, but can I say my body is impermanent, but your body is permanent? No, it's integratable. No, this is a sort of like on the universal level.
Mhm.
So personalization is extremely important, but the personalization has to come without the grasping attitude, without needing to prove anything to others. That's again, if the graspingness is there and the need to prove something is there, then again the personal integration also becomes what we call an obstacle. But without that, then the personal integration becomes, I think, one of the most profound ways of development on a personal level. So uh, definitely take in what others offer you, but take into mind so that you can contemplate, not so that you can integrate. And this is two completely different things. Integration is on a personal level. Contemplation is from everything we receive. So I
Hmm.
think, I don't know, that makes sense.
I will think about it. I will
Yes, yes.
think about all the things you say, and yeah. And so thank you very much for helping.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah,
Thank
a good question. Then we can follow up next week again.
Yeah.
See how, see how whether it makes sense or not.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila.
Rinpoche, I don't want to take up any time, but do you think
No,
maybe
no, we're good.
next week we can talk about what a healthy guru-student relationship looks like? Because I'm imagining in my mind like Milarepa building a tower 5 times, tearing it down and moving the stones, versus maybe something appropriate.
Yes,
What
yes.
that would look like. Maybe we don't have to talk about it tonight, but maybe next week. So,
Yeah. Uh, I think relationships karmically quite profound. No, when it comes to uh, someone like Milarepa, uh, the experience uh, is controlled. In any situation, one thing I would definitely say is that the experience and the situation is controlled by the wisdom and the clarity of the guru itself. That is definitely there. If uh, if it is something harmful, but it doesn't harm, there are a lot of things that are harmful but does not harm. Like for example, beating your student and making your student build how to say the 9-story building, 9 times or something like that. This is generally we would consider that very harmful. But was it harmful for Milarepa or what is beneficial for Milarepa? This is, I think, one of the qualities of the guru. This is why I say when you do meet a perfect teacher, then nothing goes wrong. Even if the methods are a little bit questionable, the developments are definitely there, and it does not harm the student. Whereas if you look at a lot of the cases, nowadays you look at a lot of cases in regards to the guru and the student relationship where it turns out to be quite messed and quite contradictory to benefit. Instead of benefit, you can see the student suffering, the guru taking advantage, physical advantage, financial advantage, and the student actually suffering from that, mentally, physically, all kinds of suffering coming out of that. Then you can see that, yeah, well, it did not help. So I think we definitely can see that one thing is very clear is that the clarity needs to come from this is why the qualities of the teachers are very, very, very important. This is the qualities of the teacher is what makes the outcome experience, and when the quality of teacher is not right, then the outcome experience of the student is trauma. And I think our utilization of how we step into the profoundness of this experience is through our clarity. And this, like I said, a lot of people look for different qualities, but for me, I mean, a lot of people look for different trends. But for me, I think quality is one thing that matters the most. Yeah, so this is why I say, if I say in a harsh word, it will be like, when you look for a guru, you're looking for someone who you are laying your whole path. So how can you settle for someone imperfect? You cannot settle for someone imperfect. You need to find the perfect person. No, imperfection, it does not have any place. You can't go, well, but now I have to do with this because this is the situation. You cannot do that. And if you're doing this, then you're playing with your life. It's not a joke. Like I say, suppose the guru is supposed to take you all the way from samsara all the way to enlightenment. And you think you can put your, it's not just your life, it's your dependency, it's your path, it's your practice, it's your enlightenment, everything you're putting in that person's hand. So why not look for perfection? Yeah. So this is why I say when it comes to guru, perfection is a must. You cannot settle. But when it comes to a student, then the only thing that you need is what we say, imperfection. Yeah, imperfection is where we need to work when it comes to a student, and perfection is what we need when it comes to a guru. The guru game can be a little bit dangerous if we tend to follow the trends in regards to fame, in regards to, you know, what we say, nice talk. I think one of the qualities that I have is the nice talk. I'm good at talking. So it's dangerous if you rely on things like that. And this is why quality matters. So anyway, definitely we can go deeper into that as we go.
Thank you.
Mary, you had a question? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rinpoche. I just, with Shayla's question and Marpa and Milarepa, it was really interesting. It's interesting to think that Milarepa was performing like a nundro, almost like a preliminary practice by doing all of that hard work. And then so sometime in the future, doesn't even have to be this class, I would like to ask you your question on nundros, like the preliminary practices that we do.
Yes, yes.
Because I mean, we have them, we do them, but I don't know. I kind of like also the idea, not like as hardcore as Milarepa, but I understand the need just to break down the ego once we identify the ego, right? Because we need the conceptual basis, but because a lot of times, at least it's easy to get lost in the numbers. Anyway, it's not a
Yes,
conversation for now, but it was just a question I wanted to ask.
yeah, definitely important, I think. Okay, Ngundro, check. I put Ngundro down on the list. Yes, Abhisha?
Just a quick question, Rinpoche.
Yes, yes.
How do you find a perfect guru when the imperfection is actually in your mind? Like, it's not a guru. Like, I don't, even when I think about Milarepa's story, we're the ones who are complaining and think, oh my God, it was so hard to rebuild and to rebuild and to rebuild. Milarepa was fine to rebuild. Like, he knew what his practice was and he was doing it. We think it's harsh. So I think sometimes when I think like my relationship with my guru is personal to me.
Yes,
And
yes.
whatever goes on between us, I mean, until it's not good, is personal to us. Like if they're wrathful or if they're kind and thoughtful, I want to have that belief that they know my mind well enough to know what I need. And so I go along with that. I mean, as long as it's not hurting anybody else, whatnot. But because I can see that whatever I see that's not perfect is usually in my own mind, based on my own perception, that I think that, oh, if they spoke harsh to me, I'm sad because they shouldn't have. When maybe that's exactly what I need, is just because I don't want to be spoken to in that way because my ego is hurt. Does that make sense?
Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, yeah. I think
Well, we can do this next week as well.
no, this is important. This is important. I think to a certain level we can work. There's a certain level that we can work with in regards to how imperfect our mind is. But then if the consideration is not done through clarity, then the results can be very, very damaging. Because I have seen students completely flip the path with these kinds of experiences. And when I say flip the path, I actually mean like criticize the guru, the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, say all of that is wrong. Say that the methods that are taught are completely wrong. Say that enlightenment is impossible. So here you can see that the extreme results can arise when the teacher is not qualified. And this is not just harmful for the student, but it's harmful for one's own mind. It's harmful for the practice itself, and it's extending your time. Instead of the teacher is supposed to, what we say, uh, extend descent. I don't know. Shorten, the time to enlightenment, not the other way around. And when it
Okay.
goes the other way around, then we can say, well, it's my mind, but then still, the dependence on the mind is definitely there. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Buddha didn't go around saying, well, all of your mind is negative and all of your mind is imperfect and mine is the only perfect one. So therefore, this is one method and everyone needs to follow it. That would be easy. But no, he went around teaching so many different methods, so many different ways, so many different
Yeah.
applications. And the reason behind it is because the imperfect mind matters,
Mhm.
right? If
Yeah.
the imperfect mind was imperfect, then it does not matter. Then why do all of this? But it's the imperfect mind that matters. It's the imperfect mind that the guru needs to work with. It's the imperfect mind that the guru needs to consider. It's the imperfect mind that the guru needs to make perfect. So it matters. It matters. The imperfect mind is there. And that is what the guru needs to work with. And the guru needs to be skilled enough to work with it without affecting it to the point where it is breaking.
Hmm.
So this is why it's important, I think. And this is why
Yeah.
the qualities of the guru is very profound, is because of this reason. Because it has to work with the imperfect mind. So if
Yeah.
I give you an example, right? Let's say we have a sewage that is, I don't know, stuck. So many dirt, so many shit, so many, I don't know, thing like that. It's stuck and someone needs to work with. We need someone very skilled and someone who's willing to work with shit,
Yeah.
right? You cannot
Yeah.
expect anyone to come and say, well, I will work with it. You cannot. And there are some people who say, well, at first they say, yeah, I will do it. But then once they put their feet into the sewage, then they feel disgusted and then they want to escape it. That's not guru quality.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the imperfect mind is what we are working with. The imperfect mind is what needs to be worked with. And the guru needs to be someone who wants to work with the imperfect mind. And this is why the imperfect mind is the most important part. This is why I said when it comes to the guru, you cannot, what we say, you cannot accept any.
That's it.
But when it comes to the student, then is the imperfect. The more imperfect, the better.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
guess my question wasn't phrased. I think once I've established this connection and I've taken this person as my guru, then I have to have a level of commitment that says I'm willing to go through the hardness and hard times and see the benefit to my mind, as opposed to thinking, oh, my guru shouted at me, so you know what, I'm going to find a new guru. I see so many people are guru shopping. It's like the guru says one little thing that I don't think was I think it was like, oh, that's not that bad, but they think it's the worst thing in the world. And they're like, I need a new guru. And so they're constantly finding gurus. And every time one little thing happens, and again, from my mind, I don't think it's a big thing when they're telling me, but they need a new guru. And so I guess I'm trying to figure out the balance between knowing that the guru is appearing as human, and so we might not see perfection as we expect them to be perfect because we're seeing the human qualities. And so where do you find that balance between accepting the imperfections in the human emanation of the guru and seeing the guru as the Buddha, as the Dharma, as the Sangha, where every little thing you don't think, oh yeah, I don't have to tolerate that. I'm going to find a new guru. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Where's
yes,
that
yes.
level of tolerance or understanding and just dipping out to find a new guru?
I think on the part of the concept of refining. Okay, now there we go down to the concept of refining. The part that the guru plays is important in the sense that the method and the application is from the guru side. Now, the part that we need to clarify is not on the application, but the intention side. Now, this is too, I think, like looking at, if we're looking at each other, then this is what we have to work with. Is from my side towards the guru is the intention, right? What is the intention of the guru? From the guru side to my side is the method, what works, right? So let's say
Yeah.
I have a mind which is affected by every small little scolding and small little, shouting from the guru. If I have that kind of mind, then the guru needs to work with that kind of mind.
Yeah, I see your point.
Yeah. But then from my side is not that I have this kind of mind, so I need to suppress this kind of mind and this and that and this. That's the guru's work. It's not my work. My work is to define what the intention of the guru is.
Hmm.
So let's say, for example, my experience with many of my teachers, not gurus, but many of my teachers, is that some of them are harsh. We used to get beating and that and this and all of that things. But then based on the intention, my experience is completely different.
Yeah.
If the intention was hate, let's say, my experience in a community, a Tibetan community where they don't like Nepali people, and I'm a Nepali, and then because of that, I experience beating from that teacher. I can see that the intentions are wrong.
Mhm.
That affects me more, definitely. I may get the exact same beating from another teacher who actually sees my faults and wants me to develop and doesn't want me to perform in that way. I can see that completely different. It's the same beating, but the difference, the approach is completely different. One I accept because I have done wrong and I see that he's trying to teach me and so on and so forth. The other one I see, even though I have done something wrong, I see that his intention is wrong.
Yeah.
Then I say, oh, he is, what do you call that? What is the word? Like caste, because I'm a Nepali, he's doing this. Yeah,
Discriminated.
discriminate. I can see very clearly discrimination is happening. His intention is discrimination. Now, even when it comes to help, this is not just, I think, the harm part. Even when it comes to help, it's the same thing. When someone is helping you from genuine, sincere, unconditional aspect, you can sense the difference with someone who's trying to help you in order to take advantage of you. This also you can see the difference. This is where I think this is where the student's mind needs to work. Is the intention of the guru, the clarity of the guru in that sense. And this is why the qualities all reflect in regards to intention. Look at
Yeah.
the six perfections, all reflect the intention, right? So this is why I always say look for the qualities within the guru because the qualities reflect the intention. So it's not that just because the guru says something wrong to you that you need to respond and you need to break up and you need to find a new guru. Not that kind of concept, but I think it's more in regards to the utilization of our connection in regards to, like I said, from the student side. It's mainly, I think the most important part is the intention part. But definitely the wisdom, the method, these matter. But then the what we say, the effect of the wisdom and method completely change on the basis of the intention. Now let's say there's a guru who loves money, who wants a lot of money, and goes around asking for money, and the intention is to get money from you. Now you can see that that means the guru would perform better when it comes to someone rich and performs less when it comes to someone unable to provide with the financial. This we can see very clearly. So when the intention is something like that, then now it's questionable whether even whether your mind is impure or pure doesn't matter. But with that kind of intention, this intention is coming from his mind, not your mind. And your impure mind, if your impure mind can see that, then imagine what a pure mind can actually label that as.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
So yeah, so definitely, even though that I think that is taught a lot within the Buddhist concept, not a Buddhist, I would say. Actually, this all mostly not from the what we say Buddha himself, the system of the but more I think Vajrayana system. So even though within the Vajrayana system, these things can these things does integrate all of that, like you need to bear it, you need to hold it, you need to, but from a philosophical, like I say, Buddha taught us, Buddha says we have the mind, we have clarity, we have ability of clarity, then we need to utilize this clarity. So from that perspective, I think we do need to consider whether it is the impure mind that the guru needs to work. And if the guru cannot work with an impure mind, then it's questionable whether that guru is right for the impure mind or not. I don't know. Yeah, something like that. Make sense?
That makes perfect sense. That was clear. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Rinpoche.
Thank you. Another person was doing it in the
I'm just going to pray that when I do find my guru, that he doesn't think I need to build a tower 9 times. That's what I'm praying for. Chances are, just because I said that, it's going to happen. So I need to get my gloves ready to go to work.
Yes. Okay, so I think we stop here. Thank you so much. Chanjo Semjo Rinpoche, Maye Banam Kyoji, Kyawanyam Bamep. Kone Gondo Pewa, Shotonye Dawa Rinpoche, Maye Banam Kyoji, Kyawanyam Bamep, Kone Gondo Pewa. Timke to take a message to the Nambadalan, Losame to take it to them about. Okay, thank you so much. Then I see you next week.
Thank you.